Chase Thomas the Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me, fresh off 3 hours of radio right there on the drive, my coworker, teammate from FANRUN Sports Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that FANRUN radio app. It's the host of The Drive, Russell Smith. Russell, good evening, sir. How are you?
Chase, good to see you as always, my man. Doing well. Hope you are.
I will say, I have not gotten used to walking out of the studio and y'all ready to go. One of the more stressful things for me is like getting out, and then I think it was Davey yesterday was saying hi to everybody and like I'm panicking sending the hour 2 headline to intern Jay, and like he goes in and I missed him. I'm like, he probably thinks I'm such a jerk because I did not say, hey, how's it going? I'm Chase, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I'm trying to get it, and I can see Jay dealing with like the Bear and everybody coming in on the producer side of things, and I'm just trying to get it. It's one of those where I'm like, it's a lot sometimes, and I get so easily overwhelmed in social situations that I'm like, I don't know. And then I drive home and I'm like, I wonder how do they think, and how does Russell think when I'm walking out and I'm doing the small talk and I'm always being nice, and I'm in my head all the time about how I am, because I haven't been in a situation like this. I've been working from home. I've been like isolated, and I'm back around a bunch of people all the time. And I always wonder, I'm like, am I coming off the way I want to come off? Like, did I say that how I wanted to say that? But yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, since it's just us now. Big jerk is kind of the vibe. Like when people are talking at the FANRUN offices, it's like that Chase Thomas, such a mean guy. You know, always with negative, just a cloud of negativity around him. No, I think like for folks who don't know Chase, I always said John Wilkerson of Vol Network has been like, you ask most people who know everybody in media, and they'll say that John is like the quote unquote nicest guy in media. And it's true. You might be giving him a run for his money, Chase. You're a very nice guy. And so it's, man, people like you. And there's never any like, oh man, Chase Thomas, this freaking guy.
I get in my head because I'm stressed, and I'm wondering if like they can tell that I'm stressed, or I'm trying to get out, like, because you got to move in, we got to,
The changeover is always chaotic because like my mind, because I think the same thing, like my mind is on getting in the studio, getting set up quickly, and focused on the first segment of the show. Yeah. And like sometimes I feel like I'm brushing you off or whoever you've got in there with you. Yeah. And it's like it's not personal. I'm just trying to get in there.
Like we think we're brushing each other off because it's so tight in terms of time.
Yeah. But it's not. We don't have time to hang out. Yeah. That's why we do this.
Absolutely. And this is kind of my jam. And part of the reason I love having you and everybody else from FANRUN on every week here is to rotate and also give like listeners a different, perspective on Russell, on Bear. I need to get Bear on. I haven't gotten Bear on. Cody and John and Bob and Sam. It's like all the different folks here at FANRUN, and to like, show a different side, a more laid back, the off the radio. Like it's just different kind of reps. And also it's a cheat code for me to have actual conversations with you guys, like one-on-one, and to like get to know each other more, because it's just different, like it's a different kind of conversation. So I just feel like it's easier for me to, get to know folks.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you're doing, man. Doing the, 2-hour show and then another hour on top. I do 3 hours a day. So that's a lot. There are some people who are out there doing 4 or 5 hours a day. That's a lot of yapping. So
a lot of yapping.
Getting your reps in.
Are you an introvert or extrovert?
It's interesting. Like, definitely naturally, I'm introverted. Yeah. Man, I was terribly shy growing up. Couldn't talk to girls, couldn't talk to adults, like anything like that. Working in radio has really brought me out of that, and I've been doing it for 20 years now. So I wouldn't say that I fake being an extrovert, but I can be extroverted enough to get by it. It's hard to be successful in radio if you're introverted. So like you have to work to come out of your shell. And that's been a process for me. I'm still awkward. I'm still like driving home at night, like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that to that guy. I must look like such work. But I find that like people don't care, people don't remember.
Yeah.
There's a great REM song. I forget what it's called, but it's about like teenage angst. And he's like, the line is, nobody remembers, nobody cares. And that's what it is. We're all so involved in our own stuff. Whatever little minor social flub you think you made at the office that day or at the bar when you were talking to that stranger, they don't remember, they don't care. It's okay. So don't beat yourself up over it too much is what I've come to learn.
Yeah, especially like in the radio when you're doing live stuff. Like I can edit here. When I mess up, I'm like, oh man, I messed up that letter. I can cut that. I messed up my wording there or whatever. Live radio, you just keep it moving. And it's like you think that everyone else picked up on your mess up, but they probably didn't. They're listening in real time. They're like, maybe he said that, maybe he didn't. Who cares? Like it's live radio. It's part of the deal. Like you're gonna stumble when you and I are driving the ship, it's like we're the ones keeping this thing on the Bear and our co-hosts can just chime in. They can they're picking their spots. Like we don't get to pick our spots really. We're steering the ship where it needs to go.
That's what I always tell the guys who are either a co-host or a producer. When the drive started in 2010, I was the producer of the show. I was the third guy. Dave Hooker and Terry Fair were the hosts. And I love being the host of the show, don't get me wrong, but I loved being the third guy because people love the third guy because here was the thing. Like I didn't get to talk as much. And so when I did talk, it was when I had a line, right? I had something really funny or informative or interesting to add to it. And so I could sit there and wait for my opening and then chime in, deliver the line as perfectly as I could. And like that's how I got to be host of the drive because I was kind of introverted and weird back in the day. And, but I did good at that, at being the third guy and gained some trust from doing that. But yeah, so I always tell like the second and third guys like, hey man, really own that role. Like it's because, and you find this out now when you're the host and you have that pressure and there are going to be times during a 2 or 3 hour show when you haven't planned it out as good as you have to. You're trying to think through it. Okay, where am I going next? And you're basically just filling time and running your mouth. And it's like, oh man, it's not good, but you don't have to do that. Yes. When you're the second guy or the third guy, everything you say just about can be really good. Yes. The host, sometimes we sound stupid. Sometimes we make fools of ourselves and you can't get hung up on it, man. You just got to try and learn from it and do better the next time.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into some Tennessee topics here tonight, don't forget you can watch the show right there on YouTube. Well over 2,500 subs, growing each and every day. And you can check out The Drive with Russell Smith and FANRUN Sports. Make sure you lock in on the FANRUN Sports YouTube channel as well and watch The Drive from 3 to 6. Monday through Friday. I'm on The Chase from 1 to 3 right before The Drive. And you can also check out more information on this show on chasethomaspodcast.com. You can read me with my newsletter and all my Tennessee writing at sportsrenaissanceband.com. And you can help this show in an easy way. Give us a thumbs up and comment below on this episode if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or however you get your podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're a first-time listener, and also leave us a 5-star rating and write us a review. Helps other people find the show, and it helps this very show continue to grow. Russell, as we continue on here, I think it's one of the more interesting things right now is seeing where Tennessee fans are at with the receiver stuff. And we've reached the point in the offseason, Russell, where there are Tennessee fans, and I love you all dearly, but there was like there's an appetite where it's like Amari Jefferson had his best practice today. And I'm like, this is no offense to Amari Jefferson, but Amari Jefferson was not in the cards to be a big time contributor in 2025. Someone who did not play last year at Alabama, had the hip thing. Takes a while potentially to come back from that. I mean, look at Tyree Weathersby, how long that's taken him to be a real factor at strong side defensive end after he came on early as a true freshman 2 years ago. I just look at this and I'm like, it's now August 5th. I have been just dismayed at the number problem that Tennessee has at receiver for 8 months, Russell. And I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see 8 months later, everyone's like, if Chris Brazel's not out there, we have a number problem. And it's like, yeah, that was the problem going into this season with 7 scholarship receivers. Like this has been looming for 8 months. Like, we knew this was going to be a tightrope that they were going to have to walk. If you're going to go in with 7 scholarship guys, like, this is something you run into. And I said on our show here the last couple of weeks of like, if you get 2,000 snaps between Brazel and Matthews and Staley, of course you're fine. Like, I 100% agree with that line of thinking. That's what you got in 2021. Those 3, Javonte Payton, Belis Jones, and Cedric Tillman, got around 2,000 snaps. You're fine. You didn't rotate. They were healthy.
Yeah.
Every year since has been injury problems galore at receiver. Every year since. So 3 of the 4 years, you've not been able to get away with that. You had Brew McCoy go out for the season in the South Carolina game in 23. You had Squirrel last year banged up all year. You had Dante Thornton get hurt and knocked out of the season against Mizzou in 2023. You had 2022 Cedric Tillman, who was on pace to have a breakout year. He gets the ankle thing at Akron, and he has tightrope surgery. He's not the same the rest of the way. Like, you haven't been able to avoid this for the last 3 years. So I just thought it was one of those things where the ship has sailed. Like, I was not one of those spring portal guys. Like, we got to go get the BYU kid, Keelan Marion, or we got to go get Brady from Cal. And I'm like, no, the guys you needed to get are long gone. They're not entering the portal now. The mistakes have been made. This is kind of where we're at. And I've just been living in 12 personnel, man. Like, it's just, we're going full Ethan Davis and Miles Kitteman this fall. Like, it's just, you're going to see a whole lot more of what we did from Oklahoma on, right?
I think you'll see a mix, man. I'm interested to see what these changes are that have been hinted at. You remember Nico hinted at it before spring practice, and Halsley kind of hinted at it. I think even Heupel earlier this week kind of said, I think he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and you have to, right, man? You have to continue to evolve. You have to have some different potential answers for the things that are going to be thrown at you. I can't remember where I read this, but I feel like somebody reported that, maybe we'll see more tighter formations and stuff, which is interesting because that's certainly not been the norm here under Josh Heupel. But I think you'll see some different things. I was not terribly concerned about the wide receiver thing back in the winter. I mean, sure, I would have liked to see more depth there, more players. You want that at all positions, right? But I kind of felt like, we don't rotate much. There's always guys that don't get to play. I mean, you had Nimrod and Leacock and Caleb Webb. Like, all those guys jumped out. The thing that concerns me is not so much the lack of depth, but the lack of experience. Because we're probably going to see Radarius Jackson this year. We're probably going to see Travis Smith Jr. Might see Joakim Dotson. That's fine. I'm excited about all those guys, but they're true freshmen. And I don't know that we've ever really seen a true freshman excel in this offense, but nobody's really been forced to yet. They might be forced to this season. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting and exciting in a way to me to see some of those freshmen out there. But yeah, man, it is kind of alarming. It feels like a recurring theme for wide receiver soft tissue injuries in the preseason. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of hamstring pulls.
Mike last year.
Mike Matthews last year. A couple of guys last year. I think Brazel was dealing with some of this last year. Yeah. Guys were just never healthy. And now here it is again. So I don't know, like, is that just bad, rotten luck? Are we running the receivers too hard? I don't know. But that's something I'd be looking at if I were Josh Heupel, in addition to just plain old recruiting more volume of receivers.
And they knew they had a number problem, right? Like, that's why there was the reports of trying to get in on Zachariah Branch, right? Like, it wasn't like one of those situations where it was like, oh, like the Nico side of things, I don't agree with most of it. The one thing I do agree with is the receiver part of it. And I am still bullish on Mike, and it's not just because Mike and I went to the same high school back in Georgia. I am biased in my high approval rating of Mike Matthews, but I do think all you needed was one. It seemed like they went big fish hunting for Zachariah Branch, and he ends up at Georgia. All you needed was someone to challenge and give you Chris Brazel insurance. Or if Chris Brazel does not make the year two leap, you have another veteran to help out in that regard, where you're not putting all of this on true redshirt freshmen and true freshman guys. Whether that was Dane Key, who ended up in Nebraska, outside, like, he's an outside guy, big play guy. I think you could that's one I would have wanted to get on. Isaiah Horton went to Oakland. Nope, he's a Tennessee guy. He ends up at Alabama from Miami. CJ Daniels, another Parkview kid who ends up going from LSU to Miami. Kevin Coleman, who was in the Jeff Lebby scheme at Mississippi State last year, he ends up at Mizzou. That's someone you could have gotten involved. He had a good year at Mississippi State last year on the outside. You didn't need like a superstar outside guy. You just needed a veteran to help out Brazel and these young guys. You needed one more. And it's one of those where I didn't think Tennessee was winning the national title this year anyway. So it's like, I'm not really, and I think Heupel deserves the benefit of the doubt, winning 19 games the last 2 years with below average quarterback play. And the receivers cannot be much worse than what we saw last year outside of Dante Thornton. It's just more of like, it's just kind of a bummer. Like we haven't even got the season started yet. And we're already looking at like, 5 scholarship receivers here right now. And like, is Amari Jefferson going to be able to help us? It's like, Amari shouldn't have to be in this position right now. Like Amari should be like, hey, let me just focus on getting right and getting acclimated to the scheme and everything else. But you're also, we're starving for positive wide receiver buzz of like, Amari's turned the corner. And it's like, come on now. Like it should not fall on Amari here on August 5th.
Well, my hope is that Matthews and Brazel will take the big second year in the system jump, and that those guys will be fine, and Braylon Staley as well for that matter. But my hope is that these are minor injuries and we're just being super overcautious here. No reason to push these guys. If they had a game Saturday, all those guys would play and be close to 100%, not being able to. I hope that it's just mostly precautionary here. I think part of the great wide receiver freak out of 2025, as this week will forever be known, is it's just, we spent an entire offseason worrying about the quarterback situation, who is going to be the quarterback, after Nico left, and the recruitment of Aguilar and all this stuff, that it's like, here's finally something else to talk about. Like, it's finally something has changed a little bit with these injuries that have popped up, and it's just something to talk about. I made this point when I was on Bob Baskerville's show Under Review earlier this week. It's like, to me, quarterback is still a much, much, much bigger problem than wide receiver, because if you don't have anybody to get these guys the ball, like it just doesn't matter. I would much rather have a thin wide receiver room and productive quarterback play than a so-so quarterback and a great wide receiver room. Man, that feels like the meme of the Ferrari up under next to the trailer or whatever under the carport. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm with you. I didn't expect national championship this year. I also didn't expect 8-4. Like, I feel like we should be past that now as a program. Still hoping that's like 9-3 would be a perfectly acceptable season to me, given the Nico drama. I think if Nico were still here, you'd be right back in that 10-2 playoff conversation, which would obviously be more exciting. Yeah. But he's not. The thing that happened. And it's like, how far back, how much of a setback are you going to allow this to be? And that's largely up to Heupel and these players, man. It's going to be a super interesting season. Look, you just got to beat Syracuse, man. That's the big thing. Beat Syracuse. Go ahead and beat ETSU. You do those things, and Neyland Stadium is going to be rocking when Georgia comes to town, and you're going to have a huge opportunity to make a statement there, man. I mean, it's going to be right there, all teed up for you. So just don't fall on your face in the opener. I know the last time we talked, you think Tennessee's going to cream Syracuse. So do I. But just handle that. Handle ETSU. Find answers to the questions that are unanswered right now, and get ready for Georgia, man. It's another huge opportunity for this program to take another big step.
This is a two-parter for you, Russell, and it goes back to what you were talking about with the quarterback. Shump and I have gone back and forth on this. In our friendship, Shump and I, we've hit a crossroads here in this conversation. It's at the quarterback battle. You never expect it with your group of friends that the Tennessee quarterback battle could really cause a fissure in your relationship. But that's where we're at this week, because I have made the case, and I don't know if you know, like, I think Bear is with me on this. We're in the pro Merklinger camp here, and hope that Merklinger ends up winning this job. But this is a two-parter for you. If it's 50-50 coming out of fall camp, like, it's just the scrimmages are still even, and it's just there are pluses and minuses for both, because I think that's one of the weird things about this is Joe. What's different between 21 and now is Joe And if you watch Joe in practice, Joe is an elite practice player. Like Joe, balls on air. Joe has great arm talent. Like Joe is a great practice player. Like you could see, and you listen to players talk about it after the fact. Like, yeah, Joe beat out Hendon in 2021. Like Joe is a great practice player. Joey Aguilar lost the QB1 job in 2023 when he transferred to App State. He got in because of injury. Joey Aguilar, you're watching this, and the arm talent does not jump off the page. He's a gamer. Like you throw him in the game, and it looks a whole lot better. But that's the kind of interesting wrinkle to this battle is that, like, I don't know how this is going to go ultimately because he's not a practice guy. He's not the guy who's going to shine in practice to win this job. Like it's going to be these scrimmages that pull Aguilar or Merklinger apart. And to me, I'm like, if it's 50-50, I think you still go Merklinger, even if it's maybe 60-40 Aguilar, because you can go back to Aguilar. Like this is it for him. He's probably not an NFL prospect. You go to him if you need to. It's like, hey, if we're falling off like Merklinger clearly is overwhelmed. He's not the guy. We tried. We'll go to Joey, get us to 8-4 or whatever. And that's that. I mean, that means it's probably cooked for Merklinger at Tennessee, but at least you tried. You gave him a real try early on. To me, I'm like that. You don't get anything from a Joey Aguilar 8-4 year. Like nothing is accomplished. Like it's just kind of like, oh, it's kind of lost. We'll talk on the radio 10 years from now. Be like, remember that weird 2025 season? We like went 8-4. Joey came in late, and we didn't beat anybody good, and it was fine. We got through it. But if you tried Jake, then it's like, hey, you might have a 3-year guy there, and you get to have him go through the lumps. By the end of the year, he might have a Nico turn because Nico was different from the second half of the Alabama game on. Like he definitely figured some stuff out. He started running more. He was a little bit more comfortable. I think if you start Jake, if it's close in the battle, he might come Florida a whole lot more comfortable than if you start Joey and Joey falls on his face against Georgia or something. And then you have to throw Jake in the middle of the year. Jake is going to be behind the 8 ball, and he might not ever show anything by the second half of the year because he started late. Do you get what I'm saying? So I just go back and forth on this, and I think if it's close, you have to go Merklinger and see what happens. Do you agree or no?
I see your point, and if it's, I think, and we tend to analyze this stuff. You play the guy who gives you the best chance to win at the end of the day. So that's where I would disagree with you is like if it's 60-40 Aguilar, I think you start Aguilar, man. We're near 5 now. This is not rebuild time. This is time to go win football games, and you start the guy that gives us the best chance to win. My gut tells me that's still going to be Aguilar. We'll see though, man. To be a fly on the wall in some of these scrimmages, right? And just really see how it goes. And I think the other thing, and I was talking with somebody this morning about, there are reports that, McIntyre is maybe the most probably the most physically gifted, and he just doesn't know what he's doing yet. Yeah. And I made the point, it's like, if you really are, if you don't feel like you have anything in Aguilar and Merklinger, there is a school of thought that says, hey, just roll with the young gun. And this person I was talking to immediately said, well, if you do that and he flashes enough to where he's your guy, you're probably missing out on Faison Brandon.
Yep.
And it's like, well, okay, didn't think of that. And so it's like, how good a prospect is he? I'm of the opinion again, like I just go to try and win games, man. Like put the guy out there that gives you the best chance to win. And if it hurts you, like you can't be, you got to project 2-3 years down the road for recruiting all the time. But at this point, it should be about winning games, man. And I think you can sacrifice some things in year 1, maybe even year 2. But we're way past that, man. It's time to go win. And I think you played the guy that is probably the most experienced, probably gives you the best chance to win. Right now, to me, looks like Joey Aguilar.
So on the other part of this question, I think I know where you're going with this, but I'm curious. Over under 2.5 Tennessee different quarterbacks start this season for the Vols. Wow.
I'm going to say under because of what I just said. Like, I think they want to maintain McIntyre's red shirt. I don't think they want to rock the boat with Faison Brandon, if at all possible.
Yeah.
They would prefer to keep that boat thoroughly unrocked. So, and I'm trying to remember, was there a situation where did we kind of do this with Nico where it's like, we didn't want to start a guy a couple of years ago? I can't remember. There's been so many years, but it's like you play these weird recruiting games where it's like, if you've got a guy, a hot shot who's committed a couple of years down the line. This might have even gone back to like Garantano and when you had Conformity and all those guys. And it's like you want to prepare for the future, but not at the expense of the present.
Right.
If you're again this far in your program. So I do it feels like this might be a year where you have multiple starters. Because here's the other thing. If the arm talent isn't what it's been with Nico and Joe and Hendon, you got to let these guys cut it loose and run. And if it's close and we're not protecting a quarterback like I think we were Nico last year, where it's like, hey, don't run unless you absolutely have to, you might as well tell these guys, go ahead and run when you have to, be as dangerous and elusive as you had. And if you do that, then you're obviously going to have, you're going to expose yourself to more chance of injury. So there might be a need for another starter there. They haven't started 3 under Heupel yet, have they? They started 2.
No, not 3 yet. But previous Tennessee coaching staffs have started 3.
Yeah. Well, and here's another, like Heupel is definitely I'm going to pick a starter and roll with him. He's not you're going to play 2 series and this guy comes in and we ride at the hot hand. He's like based off what we've seen through 4 seasons here. It's I name my starting quarterback and we don't change.
Yeah.
Unless the guy gets hurt. Like
100%. I mean, just think back to the 2023 Texas A&M Tennessee game.
Yeah.
There was not going to be a change where like, we're thinking to go to the future here. We might want to get Nico some reps. He was like, nope, full steam ahead. Like it was, all right, I guess we're just going to keep doing this, huh? And that's exactly what we did. But we just made it through.
Yeah. In the beginning of last season, after Nico was showing out the first 2 or 3 games, there was a pretty vocal segment, not a huge segment, but they were vocal about, why didn't we get this guy more reps in 2023? Yeah. You don't hear for that much now, but that was a conversation piece.
Yeah, I would say, I'm going to say under, but I do think we see all 3. I would be pretty surprised if all 3 don't get live game reps. And I'm not even talking about even George against like garbage time. I think we see all 3 at some point.
You think we see McIntyre in some sort of meaningful situation?
Yes.
Interesting.
I think he's not playing only in like ETSU or something. I think we see him at another point.
Okay. Is that a good thing? Like,
no,
no, it's not a good thing. You want a guy who owns the job to the point where they're not rushing McIntyre. Yes, I would agree with that for sure.
I mean, my hope is Merck wins the job outright, and you just have a multi-year starter, and then Faison sits for a little bit, and then you go from Merck to Faison. That's what I'm hopeful for. Like 2 years of Merck, and then 2 years of Faison would be my hope.
So McIntyre, you're odd man out.
Yeah, I don't know McIntyre, but you watched it. Yeah,
somebody's got to be like Merklinger.
Someone has to be the odd man out here.
Yeah, Merklinger, McIntyre, Brandon. Not all 3 going to have starting careers at Tennessee.
Yes. Like that, yeah. That's we could just go ahead and pencil that one in. I mean, you probably won't have all 3 going into spring football next year. I don't think, depending on how the season goes.
Yeah, Brandon jumps off the page at me, man. I'm not a film evaluator or anything, but I have seen some moving pictures, as they say, of Faison Brandon, and it's like, wow, he looks nice, man. Yeah. So it's hard not to be excited about him.
But do they start him as a true freshman? Like, is that something they do? Because remember, the weird part about that is, do they have to go in the portal? I think Tennessee adds a portal quarterback next cycle. And they go and they lose one of these 3 going into next year. And I think it's portal, Jake or George, and Faison. And then we see what happens.
And I think that's what they should do, man. Like, you look at the schools that have been having great success lately, Ohio State and Michigan, and like they're getting these guys out of the portal, man. Georgia is getting portal quarterbacks, and it's great to recruit the big time athletes and everything out there. But man, Hendon Hooker's the best quarterback we've had here under Heupel, and he just sort of fell into our lap. If I'm painting out the perfect scenario, it's like Joey Aguilar balls out this year and you do get to 10-2 and it's a storybook season and everything. And then you've got these 2 untested returning guys and the hotshot 5-star. Maybe one leaves, maybe one doesn't. But if I'm Josh Heupel at that point, I'm looking hard at the portal. Who's in there? Can I get a star, a plug and play guy, another guy like Hendon Hooker to just come in here at January, learn the offense, go through spring practice, be my team leader in the summer, and keep it rolling then. And you let those other 3 guys or 2 guys, if one leaves, battle it out to be the backup. And then at that point, he's the heir apparent. But yeah, I've been saying that for a while. Like I think there's a case to be made that the portal is the way to go now with quarterback recruiting.
And to put a bow on the quarterback part of it, what frustrates me the most is that I think if they had just let Nico walk and be like, all right, goodbye. Like, it's just, we're not dealing with this.
At the end of last season?
Yes. If they had, like in the December, January window, if they had let him go then and not done this, I think Tennessee would have an upgrade at quarterback this cycle. And I think we would all be pretty excited. Like if the rumor guys, if you just get one of the Big 12 guys, they were reportedly in on, Tennessee would be a whole lot scarier, and we'd all be pretty pumped going into this year. That's what annoys me the most, is I think Tennessee would have upgraded at quarterback in 2025 if the Nico stuff happened in January.
Yeah, they just didn't have time.
No.
And you weren't going to let him walk before the playoff game. I understand that, but and I can't remember all the details of the timeline, but there was a lot of chatter that, like right before the portal closed, right before Christmas, that Nico and his family had come back with their hands out a little bit more, or asking for upgrades around, offensive line, receiver, whatever, which, hey, man, fair enough. But maybe that would have been a good jumping off point, and you could have gotten somebody. I don't know, if the guys you'd have been interested would have been in the portal or something, but you would have had more time to plan,
right?
As opposed to when Nico left. I mean, you had like a week or two. And you weren't getting those portal.
And that's why, like, the whole Joey part is just so weird to me. The conversation is like, this was not the ideal like pick. This was not like Heupel and the staff was like, oh, we got to go get Joey. Like, hey, we got to go make a trade here with UCLA for Joey for Nico. It's like, well, it was not choice 1, and I don't think he would have been choice 1 in the December portal window either. It doesn't mean he's not going to work out, but it's also like this was a how can we phrase this? Joey needed Tennessee and Tennessee needed Joey.
They felt like they were not going to go through, which is weird because they went through last year with 2 scholarship quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And a walk on. But they weren't going to do that this year.
Yeah.
So, what do you read into that as far as what they think of Merklinger? I don't know. But there's a lot of fans right now, at least on Twitter and the message boards, that wish that Tennessee had showed the same sense of urgency with the wide receivers that they showed with the quarterback position at that time.
100%. We'll get out on this. This is like something I'm just extremely fat. Everyone's eyes are on quarterback and receiver, Russell. I am so locked in on scrimmage reports on Saturday night on what happens with the offensive line.
Yeah.
Like if Sam Pendleton wins the center job and Satterwhite does not win that changes, like, is it Jesse Perry? Is it Shamu Murov at right guard? What does that mean for Satterwhite going forward? Like, how does that change different guys? Like, do you think it's in the best interest of Tennessee that Satterwhite wins this job and they give him every opportunity and that you're able to just plug and play Pendleton at right guard where he has actual starts there and you don't play with this? Because if you guess wrong here and you go with Pendleton and Pendleton struggles at center, where a position he did not play at Notre Dame. Remember, it was just one of those, he certainly got practice reps, but he was a guard at Notre Dame. And he struggles, and you have a situation where it's like, uh-oh. Because we've seen what Tennessee has done when they're struggling at the center spot when Cooper Mays has not been available in that crazy 2023 year. That's like running in the back of my mind of like, it would just be such a huge win for Tennessee if Satterwhite can win this job and be a multi-year Cooper type guy. Like when you just have peace of mind at center in this offense, especially, it's so big for this offense and everything else that I really am a little bit nervous that Pendleton might win this and things could get a little dicey in a hurry. Because I'm pretty bullish on this offensive line in 25. I think it's gonna be better than last year, but I will be kind of raising an eyebrow if Pendleton's a starting center and you have to go Perry or Sham at right guard. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up with some positive here. I do think offensively speaking, like they've just been productive at all these positions, at every position on offense. They have just been productive. during the Heupel era. And for all the flack he takes, Glenn Ellerbe, man, that like he just turns out good quality offensive lines. And I think that this year is going to be no different. I would agree that the center position is like replacing Cooper, as you alluded to. Like we saw how that went whenever he wasn't in there. There was a noticeable drop off. So I'm not, if Pendleton wins it, I'm just going to choose to look at it from a glass half full perspective of it doesn't mean Satterwhite is a bust. It just means he's not ready. He's a redshirt freshman. He's not ready yet. And here's Pendleton, who's played a lot at Notre Dame. Maybe he doesn't have center experience, but he's played in some big time football games. And we're just going to ride that experience for now. And hopefully Satterwhite continues to grow and he'll be ready to take over at some point, either as a backup this year or as the starter next season. So I think that Ellerbe, that would be a good one to watch. If you could get into the scrimmage this weekend, it's just who can snap the ball, who can call out the protections, man. It just seems like such an important position in this offense. Man, you wish you could have just re-signed Cooper Mays for another 4 years, but we knew he was going to leave eventually, and that day is fast approaching.
Absolutely. Russell, we can hear you on the drive 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow we'll be at Covenant Park, but actually, as folks are hearing this on Wednesday, it'll be today. So if you want to come out to FANRUN night, they can come out and meet Russell, the Bear. I don't know. Do we want to encourage them to meet the Bear tomorrow night?
I don't know if encourage, but if you want to, that for the mature thrill seekers, we say that is an option. Yeah, we'll be Wednesday evening, Covenant Health Park, FANRUN night down there. We're looking forward to it. So we've given away a lot of tickets, man. So I'm hoping for a good turnout, and knocking on wood here at the house that the weather cooperates, because there is some precipitation, but we dodged it on Tuesday. So hopefully Wednesday will be dry as well.
Who's throwing first pitch?
Cody McClure from the morning show. You weren't with us last year. I mean, it's a point of contention. John Reed is his morning show co-host, threw the first pitch, did not get it to home plate. I'm not going to pile on. There's been enough of that, but Cody thinks that he can one up his co-host. So, it's one thing when you're out there in the parking lot and you're throwing with your buddies or whatever. It's a different thing when you're on a mound.
Yeah.
You've got a professional catcher there saying, sling it in here, big guy. You got a couple thousand people up there. All your friends are watching, a little nervous. We'll see. I mean, it's pretty brave to volunteer to do that. My wife was asking me, like, why don't you do that? I was like, I'm just opening myself up for criticism. I'm just
100% because I'm sailing it. Like I'm doing the thing where I'm going, it's going to be off, but I'm going too hard. Like we're going up and away or something. Like I'm not going to try and throw a strike because I just feel like I'm hitting the dirt quick before I get to home plate. Like I am not focused on that part of it. I'm not focused on location. I'm focused on getting it as far as I can.
Yeah. If you don't complete the ball to the catcher, you're going to get just hazed mercilessly by your friends.
Correct.
I would rather airmail it, 10 feet over the catcher's head
100%.
than in there. So I would try to, I don't know. I would try to throw a strike, but I would, if I have to miss, I'd rather miss high than low.
100%. Like that's where you want to go. But hopefully, I'm excited to see Cody deny it. And hey, John's brave for doing it last year because I'm not doing it. You and I aren't doing it. Like I'm not going out in front of everybody and doing that. Built different. The Talk Sports guys are built different, but that's why they're good because they're no fear with those two.
No, full steam ahead, all gas, no brakes. Should be an interesting night at the ballpark, and hopefully we just get out of there with no injuries, no arrests. You never know with our crew, so hopefully it'll be a successful evening.
There you go. You can watch and listen, like I said, to the drive 3 to 6 with Russell and the Bear Monday through Friday. Meet him in person and at the Covenant Health Park on Wednesday night for the Smokies game. I'll be there. Russell will be there. It'll be a fun time. And if you enjoyed today's episode with Russell, maybe we can get him to do the Russell Smith podcast again by leaving this show a 5-star rating and write a review. Because I listened to your episode with Mark Packer a couple months ago, and it's really good.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You need to bring it back. I like those.
Yeah, it was a lot of work setting those up. Maybe we'll have season 2 of that.
Yeah.
It's been.
We have a studio. Bring them in. Let's do that.
Yeah.
The in-depth breakdown.
Like I would pack my stuff up and go meet with. Like I interviewed Madeline Romero in the mayor's office here. I interviewed Mark Packer at WVLT's offices over there. I went to Crossville to meet Mike Keith, like halfway.
Yeah.
It's a radio station over there. So that was the most fun part to me, was like getting to go to interesting places to meet interesting people. But it gives you I just wanted to try the long form podcast in an interview format, because that's difficult.
Yeah,
I found for me.
I enjoyed it. You're good at it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So maybe. Thank you for the encouragement, and maybe we'll restart those sometime.
There you go. Russell Smith, always a pleasure, my friend, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Chase. See you, man.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.